On November 1st, 1980, a teenage girl was found dead along Interstate 45 in Huntsville, Texas. She had no identification. No one came forward to claim her. For 41 years, she was known only as Walker County Jane Doe. On this channel, the focus is on cases where science, specifically DNA and genetic genealogy, does what time could not: restore identity and uncover the truth. Her name was Sherri Ann Jarvis. She was 14 years old. The body was discovered by a prison inmate on a work detail near the Interstate 45 access road in Walker County. The location was remote. The girl had been strangled. She had been sexually assaulted. She was wearing only a yellow pullover shirt. The Huntsville Police Department responded. The victim appeared to be between 14 and 18 years old. She had reddish-brown hair. She was approximately 5 feet 2 inches tall. There were 3 distinctive scars on her body. One was on her right forearm. One was on her left knee. One was on her chin. Investigators found no wallet, no driver's license, no jewelry that could be traced. The clothing offered no clear leads. She had been left in an area where transient traffic was common. Huntsville sat along a major highway corridor between Houston and Dallas. Thousands of people passed through the area every week. An autopsy was performed. Cause of death was determined to be ligature strangulation. Time of death was estimated to be within 24 to 48 hours of discovery. There was evidence of blunt force trauma. There was evidence of sexual assault. No semen was recovered at that time. Police issued a public appeal. They released a composite sketch. They circulated descriptions of the victim's appearance and the scars. They checked missing persons reports across Texas and neighboring states. No matches were found. The case generated local media attention. Tips came in. None led to an identification. Weeks passed. The attention faded. The girl was buried in Oakwood Cemetery in Huntsville under a headstone that read, Jane Doe. Detectives continued working the case into 1981. They re-examined the scene. They re-interviewed witnesses who had been traveling the highway that day. They reviewed reports of suspicious vehicles. They contacted law enforcement agencies in surrounding counties. One witness came forward. A truck driver reported seeing a young girl at a rest stop near Huntsville on October 31st, 1980. She had been alone. She appeared upset. He did not approach her. By the time he returned to the rest stop hours later, she was gone. Another witness reported seeing a white or light-colored van parked near the location where the body was found. The van had been there for several hours on the night of October 31st. No license plate was recorded. No driver was identified. Investigators pursued both leads. The rest stop sighting could not be definitively connected to the victim. The van sighting could not be corroborated. Without a name, there was no family to interview. Without a family, there was no starting point for a timeline. Without a timeline, there was no way to reconstruct her last days. Dental records were taken. Fingerprints were preserved. Both were entered into available databases. No matches were returned. Missing persons cases were reviewed again. Some families were contacted. None of the missing girls matched the physical description or the distinguishing scars. By 1982, active investigative leads had been exhausted. The case remained open, but it was no longer a priority. The file was maintained. The evidence was stored. The case was cold. Everything discussed here is drawn from law enforcement releases, court records, and confirmed genetic genealogy findings. Walker County Jane Doe became a fixture in true crime communities. Her case was discussed in online forums. Her composite sketch was shared on websites dedicated to unidentified victims. Armchair investigators speculated about her identity. Some believed she was a runaway. Others believed she had been abducted from another state. In 1999, the case was re-examined as part of a cold case review. Investigators re-interviewed the original witnesses. They reanalyzed the physical evidence. They submitted DNA samples to the Texas Department of Public Safety for entry into the combined DNA index system. known as CODIS. No matches were found in the criminal database. No matches were found in the missing persons database. In 2015, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children created a new forensic facial reconstruction. The reconstruction used updated techniques. It provided a clearer depiction of what the girl may have looked like in life. The image was circulated online. It generated renewed interest. It did not generate a name. By 2020, the case had been cold for nearly 40 years. The original investigators had retired. The witnesses had aged or passed away. The girl's remains had been exhumed in 2015 for additional DNA testing and reburied. The headstone still read, Jane Doe. In 2021, the Huntsville Police Department partnered with Othram, a Texas-based forensic genetic genealogy laboratory. Othram specializes in extracting usable DNA from degraded or compromised biological evidence. The company uses advanced sequencing technology to build genetic profiles that can be compared against public genealogy databases. DNA was extracted from bone samples taken during the 2015 exhumation. The samples were old. The DNA was degraded. Traditional testing methods had failed to produce a usable profile for genealogical comparison. Othram used proprietary forensic-grade genome sequencing to generate a complete profile. The profile was uploaded to GEDmatch, a public genetic genealogy database. GEDmatch allows law enforcement to compare DNA profiles against databases of individuals who have voluntarily submitted their genetic information for genealogical research. A match was found. The match was distant. It indicated a shared ancestor several generations back. Genealogists began building family trees. They traced lineages forward from the shared ancestor. They identified potential descendants who matched the victim's age, appearance, and time frame. One name emerged, Sherri Ann Jarvis, born in Minneapolis, Minnesota in 1966, reported missing from Stillwater, Minnesota in 1980. She was 14 years old at the time of her disappearance. This case is just one of many where unidentified DNA is still being quietly worked on. Across the United States, investigators and genealogists are continuing to search family trees for answers that haven't surfaced yet. Investigators contacted Sherri's surviving family members. DNA samples were collected. The samples were compared to the DNA profile from the remains. The match was confirmed. On January 27, 2021, the Walker County Sheriff's Office announced that Jane Doe had been identified as Sherri Ann Jarvis. After decades of silence, DNA finally gave this case a name and an answer. If you follow stories where science brings resolution to cold cases, you'll find more of them documented here. Sherri Ann Jarvis was the youngest of 5 children. She was born on September 9, 1966. Her family lived in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area. Her childhood was described as troubled. Her home life was unstable. She had run away multiple times before 1980. In early 1980, Sherri left home again. She was reported missing to the Stillwater Police Department. She was 14 years old. Her family did not know where she had gone. They believed she may have been traveling with older acquaintances. They did not know she had traveled as far as Texas. The distance between Stillwater, Minnesota, and Huntsville, Texas, is more than 1,000 miles. It is unclear how Sherri traveled that distance. It is unclear who she was with. It is unclear why she was in Huntsville on October 31, 1980. What is clear is that she was alone when she died. She had no identification. She had no money. She had no way to contact her family. She was buried under a name that was not hers. Her family did not know she was dead. For 41 years, they did not know where she was. When they were contacted by investigators in 2021, they were told that Sherri had been found. They were told that she had been found decades earlier. They were told that she had been waiting to be identified. The identification of Sherri Ann Jarvis did not solve the question of who killed her. As of this writing, no arrests have been made. The case remains an active homicide investigation. Investigators have re-examined the evidence in light of Sherri's confirmed identity. They have reviewed her last known movements in Minnesota. They have contacted individuals who knew her in 1980. They have attempted to reconstruct her journey from Stillwater to Huntsville. DNA evidence from the crime scene has been preserved. It has been retested using modern methods. Investigators have submitted genetic profiles to genealogical databases. They are following the same process that identified Sherri. They are attempting to identify her killer. The white van reported near the scene in 1980 has never been located. The driver has never been identified. The witness who saw Sherri at the rest stop has since passed away. The physical evidence is limited. The timeline is incomplete. But the case is no longer cold. It has a name. It has a victim who can be remembered. It has a family who can grieve. This case follows a pattern seen in several others where a single DNA upload eventually led to identification, sometimes decades later. Sherri Ann Jarvis was 14 years old when she died. She was buried without a name. She was remembered by strangers who never knew her. She was identified by science that did not exist when she was killed. Her headstone has been replaced. It now bears her name. It includes her birth date and the date she was found. It acknowledges that she was someone's daughter, someone's sister, someone who mattered. The technology that identified Sherri is being used across the country. Hundreds of unidentified victims have been given their names back. Hundreds of families have received answers. The work continues. DNA doesn't forget, even when names are lost. Many viewers here follow these cases quietly. If this story mattered to you, you're not alone.